Good morning. Good morning to everyone. Good morning, guys. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for watching this live stream. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Please have a seat and enjoy the life. Like, enjoy the rides. You never know which way it's gonna go. You know, you never know which way things gonna go on this live stream. So oh yeah, yes, yes, yes. So, the reason of this live today was for me to kind of like just explore and talk about the reason why we cannot get along. I'm so sick and tired of this. I don't understand why uh, uh, Black people, let's say African people, whether it's continental or non-continental, why can't we get along? What's the issue? What can we do to make things better? What can we do? What can be done? I listen to everyone. I watch everyone. I mean, as much as I can, of course. I have a job, a full-time job that I attend all the time. So really, I'm trying to understand why we cannot get along. What's the issue? What's the solution? I'm all today about solution. I'm so sick and tired of hearing people talk about the problem, but what can we do? What can we do, even on a small scale, to um, to make things profitable for us as group of people? We cannot even work together. It does like it's not only continental versus non-continental fights among black people. It's not only that, and like it's everywhere. Even on the continent, we're fighting. Like right now, my country, Cameroon, is having a it's a tournament. It's a okay. Hold on, Valerie, hold on. I'm gonna send you the link, and you're gonna come up here. Let me see. Invite and copy clipboard. I copy that, and I'm gonna paste it over here. Anyone that I want to jump on can come up here and tell me what can we do. How can we better ourselves, like especially the way we interact with each other, the way we treat each other. Not only the treatment, we cannot even work together. Like you will see a group of people getting together just for a like fight other people, but when it comes to working together, they will not make it. They're not doing anything together. So really, there's nothing good coming out of them joining, getting together. It's all to hate. We get together to hate. We get together to complain. We get together to whine, but we don't get together to accomplish good things. Like we don't get together to build. That's what I'm trying to say. So, what is the issue? What is the issue? Why can we get together and build and do something and make things happen? Even in my own country where I am from, as all of you all here already know, I'm from Cameroon. It's the divide. We divide. There's always a reason to divide. There's always a reason why this group cannot get along with that group. There's a reason why this person cannot get along with that person, whether it's tribalism, whether it's religion, whether it's like food, even food that we can take pride in, like learn from each other and enjoy each other's um each other's tribe food. It's a subject of division. Like every single thing that um that's different, it makes give the opportunity to divide. What is the issue? Why can't we see past ourselves? Like that selfishness, is it only selfishness? Are we even capable of doing so? I wonder sometimes why, even when I listen to people on pen, right? They will be arguing so much, they'll be even saying the same thing, but still not understanding each other, still fighting each other. Basically, they'll be saying the same thing in a different manner, in different terms, and still find a way of fighting each other. It's ridiculous. Like, are we not capable of like, I don't know, are we not capable of seeing the bigger picture? Are we not capable of like sometimes like um I don't want to say sacrifice ourselves. Let's say sacrifice our will, our needs, our wants for a bigger purpose. Are we not able to do that? I have multiple times been on this panel where people are fighting and saying the same thing, but not hearing each other or not understanding each other. And to me, I think that's the skills that we lack, understanding each other. Even when we don't agree with each other, we can still make sure we understand where people are coming from and we value other people's point of view. But not only that, we have to be able to understand, to keep our eyes on the goal. You know, the way might be different to get to where we're trying to go get to, but the goal, what's the goal? Where are we trying? What are we trying to accomplish? Can we focus on that? Because all of us over here have agreed that we have work to do. We know everything that we're lacking. We know the thing that we need to work on. We know the thing that we want to acquire. We understand everything that we are lacking, but how do we fix things? How do we get to where we want to be? We all know that we have something to do, but we don't know what, and or we don't know, we don't know how. Let's say it like that. We don't know how. We don't understand. We don't understand all the sacrifice that we have to bear to get there. I don't know about that, Joyce. Joyce Box. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for listening to me. I'm just here seriously just to like give a platform for us to talk and learn from each other and share ideas. Like I don't know what to do anymore. Like I listen to people all the time. Everybody is saying the same thing. Sometimes we don't hear each other. We all know what needs to be done, but how do we do it? I want a blueprint on how to do it. How do we accomplish the thing that we want? We all understand that, but how do we get there? What's the issue? Why can't we get over ourselves? Me personally, like I always say, I know one of the main draws back in Black people, they are way too emotional. We are way too emotional. We are oversensitive. I used to think it was only us Africans that were like that, but the more and more I listen to other other non-continentals, Africans people, I can see the same thing. It's I'm not gonna say it's exactly the same. African people, they're basically like children when it comes to emotion. They don't even understand what emotion, being emotionally intelligent is. We don't even value emotion. We're not even aware of it when it comes to African people. African people, they're not aware of the emotion. They just wear the emotion on their sleeves. But when it comes to other people, it's a little bit subtle, but it's still there. I can see it. I can identify it. um there's one, emotions is one of the biggest issue that we have, and second, one of the bigger thing that I think we have that's hindering our progress is our ego. African people, it's almost as if I would say ego slash low self-esteem. I would say it like that, because the egos is kind of like a way for Africans people to overcome, to compensate their inferiority complex. You know, that's my analysis. It's the way they inflate the ego, kind of like to cover up the inferiority complex. And I don't even know why, because you cannot know everything. You have to be humble when you're wrong or when you don't understand something. That's the only way you're gonna be able to learn. But if you're gonna overcompensate, or you're gonna cover up your ignorance with an inflated ego, you only burying yourself for deeper. You know. So those are the two things, main thing, because I think our issue is personal. Each of us is kind of like damaged. We are damaged people, very, very damaged. We are more damaged than other people can even like realize. Um, Sunjata method. Hey, thank you for stopping by, Sunjata Method. I appreciate your time. Like I said, if any of you want to jump up here on the panel and tell me what you think, because really, today I just want to hear all about solution. I want to really um I want to know what you guys think about the subject. What do you think that we can change as people to so that things can go to the direction, uh towards the direction that we need to be? Because right now, as all of you can see, we are not there. It doesn't matter if you have money, you don't have money. It doesn't matter where on the ladder you are. We are suffering from the same exact thing, because even for people that are very rich, right, they are very lonely up there. They would have loved to see more people being rich like them, because you cannot be strong when people that surround you are weak. You know what I mean? Like, there's no way. It doesn't matter how much money you have. If you're the only person to have that much money, you are as weak and vulnerable as the people that are poor. you know, because um yeah, that's what I think. And yes, 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 God. So let me see. I have someone. Let me see this. Uh, yeah. So what do you guys think? Thank you to anyone that stopped by, like I said already. So yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out here today. I'm trying to hear from each and everyone uh, what the solution, what we can do for real to make things better for our community, for our children, for ourselves, for the people that will come after us. Because yeah, we are behind on everything. We will never be respected. We're never gonna have respect from anyone, any other community, if we don't build ours. We all know that. We all know all the issue. People gonna come here and tell me about the politician, the leaders. Leaders are people like you and I. We can be all leaders. They are human beings. But one of the problem is lack of understanding each other's cultural experience. Hmm. Yeah, but is that the main issue? Because I think that there's an organic issue that we have, like something very, I don't know, our DNA are altered. We have something on our DNA, some things, there's something else bigger than just the lack of understanding of cultural differences. I don't, yeah, and that's true, but it's not only that. And I don't even think that's the main thing. Because when people cannot sit around, right? When we cannot sit around a table and solve a problem, and commonly agree on something, on his on a solution to a specific problem, that is an issue. I mean, we all can be looking at the problem, and none of all, I mean, we all looking at the same thing, but having a completely different approach on how to solve it. Some people want solution that can work right away. Some people think that no, we have to just give time, we just have to lay back, things gonna fix themselves. That's how we think when I listen to us on panels. Some people are always lay back and relax. Some people think, thank you for being here, Global Green Book. Um, so that's what I'm saying. You know, we all put the same, we put on the table an issue and we don't agree on solution. That's what I see times and times and times again on our panel. It's very sickening. It's very sad. We sit down, we argue over semantics. We argue over babes. That's good. Thank you for joining in. And speak English. How you gonna? You just gonna speak French? Hein? Tu vas parler en français?
Oui, oui, oui.
Tu comprends de quoi je parle? Tu sais de quoi je parle? Je suis en train de dire que pourquoi est-ce que nous, les Africains, nous n'arrivons pas à résoudre nos problèmes? On a les problèmes, nous nous asseyons autour d'une table, mais on n'arrive pas à prendre les solutions communes auxquelles tout le monde peut adhérer et qu'on trouve le problème en question. Il y a des personnes qui pensent qu'il faut s'asseoir et attendre que le temps passe, les choses vont s'arranger d'elles-mêmes. Il y a d'autres personnes qui n'ont pas besoin n'ont pas besoin que les il y a des gens qui pensent que c'est avec le temps, ça va s'arranger naturellement. Il y en a qui pensent, qui trouvent des solutions et d'autres disputent. On a toujours quelque chose qui nous sépare, qui fait que d'autres personnes refusent même carrément d'accepter d'appliquer la solution tout simplement parce qu'ils n'aiment pas la personne qui a évoqué la solution, qui a proposé la solution. Je ne t'entends pas, Yves. Allô? Tu as enlevé,
Oui,
voilà, vas-y.
oui, tu n'as pas
Allô?
fini, tu m'expliquais. Oui.
Je disais qu'on a du mal, nous, en tant qu'Africains, en tant que communauté. Et la communauté africaine s'étend au-delà de l'Afrique. Il ne faut jamais croire que quand on dit noir, ce n'est que les Africains. Non, il y a des noirs en dehors de l'Afrique. Il y a des noirs en dehors de l'Afrique qui African Caribbean Diaspora Talk. Toujours, oui, oui. I don't know what that means, but whatever. Well, thank you for being here, African Diaspora.
S'il te plaît, je ne vois pas les commentaires, les interactions des autres. Pourquoi je ne vois pas?
Tu ne vois pas quoi?
Les interactions des autres, en tant que messagerie, je veux dire.
Ah, si tu retournes ton téléphone à l'horizontale comme ça, tu vois, si tu mets ton téléphone comme ça, tu vas voir.
Ok, je le fais.
Oui, tu retournes ton téléphone, tu vas voir. Je disais, pourquoi est-ce que les Africains n'arrivent pas à trouver les solutions pour leurs problèmes? On est toujours en train de discuter. Ce n'est pas seulement sur le niveau international, c'est même sur le niveau national, international. La communauté africaine est très grande, très large. Mais quand tu es en Afrique, tu crois que le noir, c'est juste l'Africain. Et les noirs qui sont ici de ce côté d'Amérique pensent que les noirs, ce n'est que les Américains. Donc, on a toujours ce problème-là. Tu crois que le problème, c'est où? C'est quoi ton avis?
Ah bon?
Tu ne te vois pas sur ton écran toi-même.
Bon, Gandhi Nambome. Ça va, non?
Il y a pause. Tu crois que c'est quoi? Pourquoi est-ce que les gens n'arrivent pas à trouver les solutions pour les problèmes?
Parce qu'il y a un problème de... Premièrement, je vais dire ça comment? Ou c'est un problème d'ego et chacun est un peu trop centré que sur lui-même.
Ça empêche qu'on trouve un problème pour des solutions aux problèmes qui ont un intérêt commun. Ça empêche qu'on trouve des solutions pour les problèmes à intérêt commun, à la fin qui perd.
C'est nous-mêmes qui perdons, bien sûr. Je prends un simple exemple. Je vais partir d'un cas un peu particulier avant de généraliser. J'imagine aussi un couple. Un couple
Mhm.
a déjà, quand on dit couple, ça veut dire qu'on a des intérêts communs, on a tout en fait est commun. Mais
Oui,
s'il y a une situation sur la table, s'il y a un souci et que l'autre tient plus à son ego, est-ce qu'on pourra trouver une solution, Irène? Non,
non,
je ne
pas du
pense
tout.
pas.
Non, pas
Je
du
crois que
tout.
c'est un peu, je crois que c'est un peu la même chose en fait au départ.
Tout à fait, c'est la même chose parce que, tu vois, quand tu commences à réfléchir sur le plan unitaire, ça te permet de projeter cela sur le plan macro,
Oh,
tu vois, sur le plan général. C'est très important parce que les gens ne comprennent pas comment est-ce que ça nous affecte. Tu vois un peu nous là-bas au Cameroun. Au Cameroun, les gens parlent du tribalisme de gauche à droite. Les gens, même ces personnes qui parlent du tribalisme, tu vois, qui supportent le tribalisme, ces personnes elles-mêmes sont victimes de leur manque d'objectivité par rapport et de leur ego mal placé, je veux dire, tu vois un peu. Ça empêche qu'on trouve des
oui.
solutions qui peuvent aider tout le monde parce que ce n'est pas comme si les solutions ne bénéficiaient qu'à moi, tu vois un peu. Donc, c'est tellement indispensable pour nous qu'on apprenne à regarder de façon large, tu vois un peu,
De manière
qu'on
générale, oui.
ne se retrouve pas seulement sur, qu'on ne regarde pas seulement sur soi. C'est triste,
Effectivement.
c'est très,
De
très triste.
tester la petite personne et puis de regarder, en fait, d'être visionnaire, si je puis dire ça comme ça. Quand on a une grande vision, oui, on peut accepter. Mais quand tout est limité à ta petite personne, comme les problèmes de tribalisme, le tribalisme, c'est quoi, Irène? Ce n'est presque rien par rapport à un problème, je veux dire, par rapport à un problème de racisme, le tribalisme n'est rien.
C'est presque pareil, mais sur des formes différentes. Donc, sur le fond, c'est presque la même chose. Parce qu'à la fin, qui souffre? L'être humain, tu vois un peu. Parce que même au
Oui, oui.
Cameroun, si on te prive du travail à cause du fait que tu appartiens à cette ethnie ou pas à l'autre, n'oublie pas que tes enfants souffrent du fait que tu ne peux pas rationner, tu peux les amener à l'hôpital quand ils sont malades. Et ils peuvent mourir, tu vois un peu. Donc, les
Bien
résultats de
évidemment.
cela, c'est la même chose. Les conséquences, c'est pareil.
Ah
Comment
oui.
est-ce qu'on fait donc pour que les gens arrêtent de réfléchir de cette façon? Et cette façon d'être et de réfléchir, c'est dans notre communauté, je t'assure. Je suis entourée des personnes d'autres. Ils ne sont pas comme ça. Attends un peu, je vais prendre le monsieur qui attend là et puis je te reviens, hein. Ne parle
Ok.
pas, s'il te plaît.
Ok.
Alors, Sunjata method. Hey,
Hello, hello. How's everyone? How's my sisters out there?
hey,
That's
how are you?
I'm doing good. Can you hear me all right?
Oh, yeah, I can hear you. Thank you for joining in
Mm,
and
I
thank you
won't be
for being
long.
here.
I won't
Yeah.
be long. I just wanted to clarify my statement that I made when I said cultural differences. I mean, I like to say hello to everybody, and it's nice seeing you on, and it's an honor to be on your live. So I'll get things going. What I mean by I think that's a good subject, and that really caught my attention that you brought up because, as far as I can remember, as long as I've been dealing with the situation, it is a problem between a lot of diasporans and continental Africans and being able to come together and to develop a unison mindset that's focused on accomplishing the things that we have in common together. And there's a lot of elements that come and play into that, in my opinion. But when I said cultural experiences is not the biggest problem, but it can be a problem if the individuals allow it to get in the way. So a lot of us are formed and we're formed and structured by our cultural experiences. So me being an African American, I'm born into this wilderness called North America, right? So based on the experiences that I have come to meet here, from the oppressors here in this country, from my ancestors that were brought here. You know, I have been formed and structured under this mindset. So a lot of the traditions and values that my ancestors had, and a lot of my ancestors are Fulani and from other parts of West Africa and North Africa. A lot of those experiences and traditions and cultures that they had, unfortunately, has been lost in this society. Of course, I look back and I grab for it and I search for it and I practice it within my family. But when I look at us overall as African Americans in this society, we have lost those cultures, traditions of our ancestors from the continent. And so we operate in a society that's almost like live or do or die. You see what I'm saying? So it brings more of an aspect of aggression in some African Americans because of the treatment and the lack of opportunities that we get in this society. So we have left a lot of the traditions, not by our own merit or by our own doing, but because of the oppression and the conflict that has been put upon us in this society. Whereas our brothers and sisters on the continent, even though the West is gradually coming into play over there, they still have a lot of those traditions and cultures that makes their family life and settings and everything, you know, work for them. So now when you have two of these diametrically different cultural and experiences, and they're trying to come together, it's going to take a lot of maturity and a lot of looking at the levels of what do we share in common where we can come together on. We have to put away all the superficial stuff because we each have pain on each side. And it's a different way this pain was projected to us. So now we have to put that to the side and say, okay, where are we all similar? We're African. What is the fight that we all have worldwide? Oppression, marginalization, discrimination, all of these issues that we all face. So how do we come together on these issues alone to work for a better goal to develop our land, Africa, and it gets deeper into that. So I feel like that's what I meant by cultural experiences. If you're not on the level of understanding what the real fight is, a person can allow their cultural experiences to get in the way and cause all of this confusion and division. We have to focus on where we're similar at and work towards that in developing unison. And that's just my opinion.
Okay, I have a question for you. I understand that, and I have said that that was an issue, but that's not to me like the main issue. Like we can still find a way to get along, even with our cultural differences. It takes time to learn from each other and know each other's values. But to me, but how come like Africans on the continent, like in Africa, where have you ever been in Africa?
Oh yeah, about five
Okay,
times.
all
Yeah.
right. So how
Been to
come
Kenya, been to Morocco. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
okay, but how come African people don't have that issue with European or other nationality that are there? How
What
come
you mean
they
the issue
of
in,
cultural
in
differences?
regards to what?
Cultural differences, you know?
Okay, well, my opinion, of course, these are my opinions. Who am I, right? But my opinion, based on my experience, the cultural differences come into how our cultures evolve. And in Africa, the oppressor came, but he came on your land, on the African's land. So
Mm-hmm.
you were still able to live in this semblance of the construct of your society, but it was ruled covertly and sometimes overtly by the oppressor, but you were still on your land. So your traditions and cultures were, and your language and your names, all of that you kept, even though various oppressors came and individuals joined those religions or belief systems or whatever and changed their names, but still you had your lineage. You were still connected to your lineage on the continent, and your lineage would always be there. I mean, you're on the very soil of your ancestors going centuries back to the first human being. And
But
that
this,
was never disconnected. But
okay.
as far as the African American is concerned, we was taken from that soil and put on unfamiliar soil and ruled in an area where we were not familiar with and we were forced to leave our religions, leave our spiritual systems. We were forced to take away our ancestral names. We were forced to take away our language and everything that made us African. So when you take that when you turn a person inside out and upside down, and you take away their identity, you're going to get a whole nother type of African. So that's what makes us different. And I don't want you to misunderstand me. I'm not saying cultural differences alone is the biggest thing that divides us. There's other things too. But I believe that cultural differences, because of those issues, has a large play in it, but it don't have to be. It just depends on our ability to look at the common goal. Where do we all suffer at collectively? And focus on those goals alone and work to establish, unity based on that construct. But I was mentioning cultural differences has played a part in it for many that are not mature enough to be able to look past that and to know why that happened to us. That's what I was.
I understand. Yeah, I understand what you say, and I agree with you on that. Um, but what are the solution? Like my life today, really, I want people to tell me what we need to do. Like I have had all the problems, like always.
My
What
my
do we have
my
to do?
the way I feel about it, the solution is education.
Uh,
Education. Like what you're doing now, and what many others are doing in Pan-African communities, and even if they're not Pan-African, but they understand their identity and understand the problems that we face, this type of correspondence, this type of awareness is required. And it's not going to happen overnight. You cannot expect to see it to happen in your lifetime. Nor, I
yeah,
mean, if it does, I say, oh, okay, all thanks to God for that, right? But we cannot really expect to see it in our lifetime. But with the age of information, you notice things are changing now in society. People are getting more aware about this DNA. More African Americans are taking DNA tests. Other diasporans or other continents are taking DNA tests. They're finding out their lineage. Many African Americans are repatriating back to Africa. Many are getting more proud and wearing our colors. And I'm Mende, I'm Wolof, I'm Fulani, I'm this, I'm that. You can see this surgence happening amongst the people, and that's a gradual change. That if I was to go back, if we was to go 2 decades back, this wasn't happening. This
yeah,
wasn't happening.
that's
But
true.
now we see this happening. So in order for us to get there, what you're doing and others are doing on that level, you have to continue that awareness. Not talking about things that divide, like not saying, well, this religion is bad and this religion is bad and this spiritual system is bad, because when you start doing that, you start dividing people. Let the people keep their religions. What's wrong with that? Because you can keep your faith and still build on productive things to help your race. But when you're trying to tell a Christian or a Muslim or a Buddhist or whatever faith or belief system that they subscribe to. That what you're doing is wrong. That's the colonizer. That's and this and this and that. You've already alienated that large sector of people.
You know
So
what?
now let's say, okay, well, let's leave that out. Let's talk about where we can come together and work on this goal. So what I'm saying in answer to you, the solutions are here. Many African Americans, speaking of us alone, from the diaspora, are doing these tests, are going back to Africa, are visiting. In my lifetime, at this age, I have seen the most. I've never seen repatriation on this level. There are countries that's making money from this. You see? So this is the gradual step that we're at, and it's going to take time. We may not see it in our lifetime. Our children may see it, or their children may see it. But things like this takes time to achieve, and that's just my opinion.
Yeah, you see, many people are gonna agree with you already, and that's what's gonna keep dividing. That's what I keep saying. Like you're talking about religion, that we have to let people keep whatever they believe in, but the belief system affects a lot the way you think. You agree with me, right? So
Yeah, I
some
would.
group of Africans, whether it's on the continent or here in America, they don't even want to associate themselves with some people because they belong to this religious group or the other, because they know that from the get-go they're not gonna see eye to eye on a lot of stuff,
Right.
because they feel like their loyalty is not to Africa, is elsewhere, and they don't want they cannot be trusted. I don't think they're gonna. So there's so much more to me than just like the cultural differences, religion. I think that if us African people, right, like to me, one of the main reasons why African people don't get along is because they behave and they act the same, whether they're continental with the or elsewhere. We have like the same common issue. We are way too. A lot of us are way too immature. Not many people are ready to sacrifice their interests to for a bigger goal. People want to hold on little stuff that make their life like enjoyable. They want to hold on to what I'm trying to say is that the moment that someone like find a solution that's gonna maybe negatively affect someone, that person is not ready to give up whatever that he enjoys just to see the common goal come together. I think we are way too emotional. That's first. And second, we have an ego that is like misplaced. Really,
Right.
I
I
have been
agree.
I have been listening to this forum. So to me, the issue is just is it start with us individually. Like I don't feel like we really build to overcome the challenges that we face in life. That's I've whether like I live here in America, right? I'm continental Africa. And I hear African Americans people always like sometimes praise Africans. I'm African. I know things that the African Americans from where he stands cannot see in an African, because some people look at Africans as if they are all they luckier. Like some African Americans look at some continental African as if they have more than them just because um they're still on the continent, they kept their culture, not knowing that that culture is not even valued in Africa. The Africa that you guys talk about is the ancient Africa. Like the Africa of today, I don't even know what Africa people are. Like when I'm talking about when they say, "Oh, you kept this, you kept that, you do have your lineage," they don't even want anything to do with that. The majority of the youth over there, they want to be someone else completely. Like we are messed up from both sides. Don't listen to anybody tells you that Africans succeed better in America. They this, they that. None of that is true. It's just like superficial.
Yeah,
Very
we all have our unique baggage That's what
Yeah.
I was saying, you know? And and it's the West, it's the changing society that's affecting us all. Still, and I agree with you, but still when I visit Africa, I goes to Kenya or Morocco, right? And when I or let's talk about Kenya. I go to Kenya the most. And still when I go there, I still, even though I see the West creeping in, I still can see the culture because I'm coming from such a vastly different cultural experience in America. And when I go to Kenya, and I plan on going to West Africa, I got a lot of places to find. But even when I just go to Kenya, I can still see a vast difference in behavior, respect for the elders, you know, the children that have the respect for the elder. And you see that, like you said, some of that's changing too. But you still see individuals more so, at least from my experience in Africa, that holds on to these values. You know? But I do agree, these values are changing, and we're going to a whole new world society as things change. But the only solutions, there are many different solutions, and we will probably be on here for a while. But one of the biggest solutions I would see, one of the first steps, is like activism, like how you're doing, how other individuals are doing, getting on, talking about the issues. Because one thing where we can benefit from this social media is that now the world is connected. So now we can talk about our problems, our issues, where we come together, and now you may have African Americans that thought of Africans as one way, but then they get online on YouTube and see you talking and say, wait a minute, I didn't know they think like that. I didn't know they wanted this camaraderie. I didn't know they wanted to unite. I always thought Africans thought they were better than us. I always thought this, which there are some that are like that, but still, when they get to see individuals like yourself or others that are trying to bring this unity, this gradually changes the outlook and the mindset. And evolution does not happen overnight. Evolution, as we know, if we're talking about the physical aspect of evolution, it can take thousands of years, right? But when we're talking about evolution of the mind, and of one's understanding, it can take many years. It can take generations as new people come to new enlightenment and understanding.
Yeah, yeah, I understand that. Let me welcome someone else here. Last man, welcome to my channel, and thank you for being here. You can go ahead. Tell me what you think about the subject.
Um, Personally, when you say continentals, I'm kind of confused by that because continentals means basically entire continent. Um, how I see it is different groups of I'm gonna call them ADOS, you know what I'm saying, like African Americans, or you want to say diasporan, or however y'all want to go with it. Necessarily depends on how they how they sit in that slot. Personally, depends on how they view it. Because if you one of those people who got like kidnapped from the country or whatnot, or what, or your tribe necessarily, and they got sent. I'm saying kidnapped was wrong. With sold was different because necessarily because if you understand, they are what is it? What do they call them? Ports where they were just selling people. Now, if you understand that, then you understand that somebody was facilitating these deals. So that means somebody was selling somebody. That means somebody was getting some money for it. So depends on what you know and understand. You understand that. So if I look at somebody or whatever, like your great granddaddy shot my great granddaddy to see what I'm saying 200 years ago or 500 years ago or whatever, and then you gotta still live the effects of that and whatnot. I'm gonna look at you today differently than I would if I didn't. So, in my personal opinion, that's where most people got their issues come from. That add that on top of the cultural issue, that's where most people have their issues. But that's just me.
Hmm. You know, um, well, that still doesn't give me any solution so far. I'm still looking for like tangible solution? What do we have to do to fix those differences? What do we have to do?
Necessarily, I guess you do what anybody else do. You do what anybody else do. You fix what was broken, right? If I necessarily, if I okay, let's say, all right, I don't know what country you're from, but let's say your daddy took 5 goats from my daddy, right? Um, right, and then y'all got, let's say I took them goats and I had 3,000 more goats or 300 more goats in with them, right? Would it be? Is it not, if you want to mend the rift, give me my 5 of my 10 goats back, and then we'll be good. But then when you ask most people, give me my 5 of my 10 goats back, then it's like, just like you said earlier, I'm not gonna give up anything that I'm benefiting from. So the problem is going to persist until either A, you get a collective goal necessarily, or you give me my 5 goats.
So what you're saying is that what is Americans? Oh, he's gone. Oh, I don't know why people are dropping. It looks like my network is in and out. People are just dropping off, and
I
yeah,
don't think I didn't hear anything he said. I heard him say something about ADOS, but
me
the
either.
signal was bad.
Yeah, I'm not sure I understood exactly what his point was, but like I was saying earlier, um, we just talk, we keep talking about the issue. Really, I don't know. One of the reasons that I think, me personally, that we struggle so much is because we do not have a common goal. Someone asked here, African Caribbean diaspora talks. The person asked that, what is the common goal? What's the common goal? Where are we trying to get to?
That's a good question.
What's the bigger? She said, what is the bigger goal? Yeah. Um. Let me see. Hey, someone say, I think his point is reparations. Okay, from who? Reparation from who? Reparation for who? For
If you
African Americans? I don't know what that has
yeah,
to.
yeah, that has nothing to do with African Americans or pretty much diasporans and the continental Africans united. That's a issue that African Americans have taken up with the current government we're under because of what they've done to our ancestors. But that's kind of off subject because
Yeah.
your title is about us uniting. So, but the question that was asked, what is the common goal? That's a good question. That's the question. That's the question of the day because that's a tricky one then because everybody can have different goals. So you have to analyze like what is the common goal? You have to develop what is it? Why do we want to unite? Is it to
Okay.
be a people, to have a land of our own, to be our own self-producers, our own self-providers, to govern over ourselves without the dabbling of other nations, to be a one nation of Black people, African people, related, working together economically, socially. These are good goals, but everybody have their own different ideas.
Yeah. There's some people that are already, like, according to them, are already doing good anyway. Many people tend to everything on money, like, especially when it comes to our community. We always only view money. We we don't value anything else than money. And I think that's one of the major problem that we have. Other people value more than money. They can even put the money aside to achieve something that is very dear to them.
Right.
But when it comes to Black people, it's the limit is money. As long as they have the money, they're good. So that would be okay to still be independent of other people. They have no problem with it. But someone over here said that the previous caller was talking about he was requesting reparation from Africa
Oh, from Africa.
because Africa sold them. So he believed that African Americans should get a reparation from Africa. But guess what? Africa
That's
that's
a whole nother conversation there.
that's so funny because Africa can't even take care of their own children. They have no reparation to give to anyone. Even if they had the money, they would steal it. The leader would steal it and go invest in America or in France still. There's no way.
Right.
Never even dream about asking reparation from Africa. You're never gonna get it. These leaders don't care. They don't even care about their own people that they're leading right now. You know,
Right.
it's never
That's
gonna
another. That's a whole nother horse of another color, you know. But and I've heard individuals talk about that.
Oh,
But you
really?
know, let's talk. Let's discuss unity first, and then we can get
No.
there. You know,
African
if
American have
that's a,
way yeah, African American have way too much expectation from Africa. Like when I listen to Brandon, Dana Samir, when I listen to them and I listen to the people that comes on the panel and discuss, I'm like, you guys don't even know Africa you guys talking about. Like they don't care. They really don't care. And some of the disappointment of African American some of the disappointment that they express when it comes to why maybe I have heard several people say this that why did African American no African leaders never reach out for unity like someone like Nagnizi, he's always upset that it's the effort is only one-sided. It's always from the African Americans from the diaspora reaching out to Africa, but African leaders never done the same. They don't understand the people they're talking to. They don't care. Really, they don't care. They don't even think about. They don't even think about it. It's not even in their mind. That's not even something they consider. They don't even think it's necessary. They don't think like that. All they see is money. All they see is power. All they see is ego. That's all
that's true.
they're just there to uh, serve our oppressor the best they can. The only thing that they value is to look good at their eyes. That's how it is. There's nothing else that they're not even thinking like African American.
No,
Like
no.
we
Because
in
I'm
we
sorry.
in,
Go ahead. I didn't mean that.
yeah
Go ahead.
we African American have to keep that in mind seriously because you're gonna set high expectation for people that are not even you're only gonna be disappointed over and over again. It's only now that African Americans are reaching out to Africa that some people are waking up in Africa. You know, we in Africa, we envious of African Americans. We don't understand even like the complaints that you guys like express. It takes someone to maybe move to America and understand the social cultural dynamic of America to start realizing that maybe somewhere these people going through things. We don't say like that when we in Africa. We don't. We want to be you. We envious you. We wish we were you. We we want everything that you guys have. We just dream of one day being in America. Somebody was making a
What
joke.
do you want the racism too? We can give you that.
Oh, they don't even think about it. They don't. The thing is that they don't understand the concept of racism. A lot of people, even people in Europe, they don't even understand racism, especially when it comes to um, institutionalized institutionalized racism. They don't understand that at all. You can explain it days after days to an African, he doesn't even know what I'm. He's gonna be like, oh, why don't you just do it? Why don't you? Why? Your typical African person, right, is raised and trained to accept its position in the world. He's not even thinking about fighting it. That's the main difference that I see between African, continental African, and African American. African Americans fight. They're seeking equality. They're asking for equality. Your typical African person, no, he's just happy to be to just live in this world. If you can just like give him throw him some money, that's it for him. He's not looking for more than that. So when you guys are fighting, requesting this, requesting that, they're even blaming you that why are you fighting? What is that?
Yeah, see, that's what I mean by cultural experiences. It's
Exactly.
different because our fight is different here in America than it is in Africa.
There's no fight.
You can look at us and say, why they're doing that? They got these
Yes.
opportunities, they live here, they
Yeah.
live there. But until you walk the shoes of an African American, racism makes a whole nother, it adds a whole nother flavor to all of those so-called opportunities. You see?
Yes.
Because yeah, we have these opportunities, but we have to work double as hard than our white counterparts to get them. You
An
see?
African doesn't
So
care. An African person doesn't mind that. He will work 4 times more than the
yeah,
other
but
people.
the thing is, should you have to do that? You see what I'm saying?
They don't.
You should not even have to do that. You should just be able to get the same opportunities on the same playing field like everyone else based on your skills and abilities, your knowledge, skills, and abilities. That's
That's
what you're supposed to be able to get it on. But see, yeah, they're not. And I can't speak for a continental African, but I can imagine that they feel like why you're complaining about that because of where they're coming from.
yes.
Because they're coming from such a lower level of income, they're like, hey, I'll work this hard to get what you have. But they're not understanding that, yeah, that's good. You should be industrious and you should be a hard worker. But should you have to work harder than this other man just because of the color of your skin? You see? So, yeah, you're doing that, but you're being played. They're taking advantage of it. So African Americans pretty much just get tired of that.
Yeah.
And, we're living under this and we're wanting to be able to create and produce our own and be able to work on the same level playing.
Yes. Trust me, I understand. It took me
Yeah.
some years to understand that. And it took me being in America to understand that. That's why I don't know. I'm like when I join panels, I'm trying to always stress certain things to African people because they don't understand it. It took me starting to really learn and understand because even myself, when I initially got here, I was surprised. I always thought that African American, that maybe I don't know, I did not understand why certain things were happening. Even the people that are living here, some Africans, that's not their priority. They're just happy to be here, but I understand that. But someone, especially on the continent, there's no way you're gonna explain that to him. He's not gonna understand. His need is not that. It's just to survive. We operating from a desperate position, and we cannot. Like they say, there's different needs. We cannot even have what. We don't even know when our next meal is gonna be, so we cannot be starving. We cannot start thinking about fighting for equality. To someone else over there is like a waste of time. He was like, "Why are you doing that? I mean, you already have a house, you have a car, you have. I mean, you paid every month. I mean, not every month, every time you work. When over there, people have like go months without getting a pay, and they're doing the job. Like it's just their normal. That's what they live every day. So yeah, the mindset is not the same. To build your continental Africa up to that level is gonna be hard, you know. And what saddened me is that the continental Africans that left Africa and live in the West and that have succeeded, then they don't do a good job. Also, um, they don't do a good job building themselves up and start like thinking that they deserve better and that they should fight for equality, stuff like that. No, they're not. They're just happy to be exactly where they are. That's it for them. They don't ask more, they don't expect more, they don't. It's just like it's sad. So I understand cultural differences is a, like you say, is one of the biggest thing, you know.
We have to elevate our way of thinking. You know,
Yeah.
we have to elevate, and when that comes through education, you have to, the African, continental African has to be educated about our struggles here and why we are who we are, and the madness that go with that. And we have to be educated as to our brothers and sisters on the continent. And once you have an understanding as to the background and the history, the origin of a person or of a people, you are more, you are generally, you're more at a level now where you're willing to work with that person because you can better understand their pain and their struggle. But if you're not educating yourself about your brother and your sister, you're going to always keep looking at them with this eye like, why is he like this? Or why is she like that? Why they're acting like this? And I got three aspects of the human being. I like to call it ignorance, willful ignorance, stupidity. Most people would look at stupidity as the worst because ignorant is a person that don't know. Willful ignorance is a person that don't know but don't want to know. They don't know, they know how to get the answer, but they don't get it. And stupidity is a person that knows but ignore the knowledge. I don't believe stupidity is the worst. I believe the majority of humans are willfully ignorant because we get comfortable in our zones. And we even know that we live in an age of information. The answers are there at the touch of a fingertip on a keyboard. But we willfully will not search it because of our fears and our inhibitions and all of that stuff that surrounds us. And that's what's plaguing us. A lot of us know that the information is there to learn about our brothers and sisters, but we don't take the opportunity or the time to learn about it. So we have to have more people talking about it and educating on these differences and why they're there so we can repair that and then start looking further into what's really the problem so we can unite on those things that really.
Yeah, that requires self-motivation, right? But if people
Right.
are not motivated, being motivated is it's a that's a work on itself. Like people don't just get motivated like that. Sometimes you even want to know about something, but you're lazy, you don't want to get to work, you postpone and all that. So self-motivation, I feel like we should find, when I was talking about solution, right? My life was for people to tell me what we can do systematically for things to start moving, because that's the only way for me that I'm to see real effective result. It has to be systematic. How do we implement the solution that we come up with? Because the way that things gonna be done in United States or in the diaspora in general is gonna be different from the way it's gonna be done in Africa. They don't even have the means. When you're talking about learning, you're talking about the people in the West, because they have. Oh, I have a call. 1 second. All right. So what I was saying is that the solutions are gonna be different from for the people in America and the people in Africa. Um, Africa's solution is gonna have the most. It's gonna be the most challenging to implement because let me tell you, our leaders are not there for to build and educate our people. Our leaders are there to keep them exactly where they are, desperate when it comes to information, knowledge, training. They don't even want you to be successful. The system is built to oppress the Africans. When people say Africans are ignorant, all that, uh, it's not their fault. 50% is not their fault. Sometimes you have really not much. Um, there's really not much that you can do against your whatever is happening to you. I mean to say, um, because it's really sad when I think about it. Like seriously, if you poor in Africa, that's it for you. Even you, the Americans. That's why I appreciate some Americans, some diasporans down in Africa better than others, depending on what their um the type of people that they interact with. You as an American, when you go to Africa, right? You can either choose to be around real Africans or you can choose to be around the privileged people. And the privileged people will embrace you, they will love you, they will hang out with you because being with an American is viewed in Africa as a sign of success, elevation. It doesn't matter what
Right.
you do in America. They don't even want to know what you do in America, especially when there was no YouTube, everybody was going to America in Africa, and now broadcasting on YouTube like they're doing now. Now Africans are learning about African American more and more. They're even feeling it just is not it's becoming normal for them to see one. But before then, that no, you if I have a friend, I go to Africa, I'm like, this is my friend, he's American. Oh, everybody is gonna look at me as if I was like this big woman, like I have arrived, I'm successful, I'm so lucky to be around an African American. Yeah, that's what African Americans don't understand. Like, people look up to you guys. So when they hear you complain again, they're like, "Oh, how can they complain like me? I'm over here struggling, and you that I was like hoping for you to,
Right.
I
Right.
was hoping for you to get me out of this like a struggle. You complain like me.
Exactly.
They look
Exactly.
up to you guys. That's something
Yeah.
you
You
cannot.
know, we have our struggles here. African
They have,
Americans ain't
they have.
skating. We're not skating on water. So, we ain't walking across the water. So, everything is relative, you know? I mean, the money may look good in Africa, what we're making here, but the money matches, the cost of living where we live.
Exactly.
So, you have a lot of slums, you have ghettos, you have privilege, not privilege. We have all of those sectors like it is in Africa. So they're just looking at the power of the dollar compared to their Dalasi or their Kenya shilling or CD or whatever the case might be. But you have to understand that everything is relative. So, you know,
Yeah.
if they have to look at it on that level. So, like what part are you? You're from West Africa, correct?
I'm from Cameroon.
Cameroon. Wow,
Yeah.
that's nice. That's very nice.
Yes, sir. So what I was trying to say is this. Like you're talking about education, right? It's not gonna work in Africa because our leaders never gonna let it happen. Because if you start educating the Africans, telling them the real some histories are forbidden to be taught in Africa. That the West, Europe has said no to a lot of our history. We don't have the right to teach it to our children. They say it's gonna create an anti-European feeling or whatever. So they want it kept away from Africans. If you start talking to African, say using terms or speeches that is gonna make them feel as if they like motivate them, empower them, stuff like that, they're not gonna like it. They're gonna shut it down as because I don't understand why we don't teach certain things. There's so much that I have learned just being outside of Africa that I would have never even known about if I was still there. It's not a thought. Nobody's thinking about it. Even when you bring it up, it's like a far away stuff that people don't even want to hear about. You know, like even the nobody tell us in Africa, first of all, about African American. We don't know nothing about you guys. Nothing. So we just know that you're American and that you uh, we don't even know what we don't even do black white. You know, like African American talks a lot about black and white. When we stand in Africa and view you, we just know there's two type of American, black and white, and we know they're equal. You know, so when you come there, we're not looking at you as like our all lost cousin or brothers or whatever that some African American want to see Africans express. We don't look at you like that. We look at you like an American. So if we have something against American, we have something against all Americans. They are black and they are white. That's how we look at it. Because nobody tell us anything about it. When you talk about slavery in Africa, in my country, it's like talking about like Jesus or something that happened that nobody really um can testify that it's real. They know it's real, but they don't know how real it is. They cannot relate. It's not relatable to an African. It's far away from its normal life knowledge and all that. So yeah, there is a lot of teaching. It's gonna take so much. I watched this girl. She was African American. It looks like she was an exchange student that went to Ghana. And she said that when she was in class, Ghanaian students were laughing when they were talking about slavery, and she was very hurt, you know. And I can understand both sides. The Ghanaian student, even in my country, they will laugh. I promise you, they will. They don't understand exactly what that means. You as an American will be offended and will be you would think that we are heartless and we are not we lack empathy and all that, but that's not the case. We were detached. We are so far, so much detached from our past that really it doesn't bring anything when you talk about it in Africa to an African that have never traveled. An African in the diaspora is different Africa. It's a different kind of African. It's not like the one over there. The one over there, it's just like like yeah, that's we have to like really understand those nuances, you know. It's very important because
Yeah.
this
The
poor
edge.
yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I said this poor girl, when I watched her video, I felt very bad, but she did not understand. It wasn't to hurt her feelings. She took it personally and she was very offended. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
not.
That education that you were talking about, how the governments will not allow it to a certain point because they do not want the populace to start hating the Europe and things like that. You know, loving yourself, you don't have to hate somebody else to love yourself, you know? And that's not what I would be talking about when I'm speaking about unity and learning and, you know, African Americans or diasporans connecting with the continent and their brothers and sisters on the continent. You don't have to learn hate for another people to learn how to love and to recapture that which belongs to you. So far as the education is concerned, if the government system, in my opinion, is not allowing education like this to be taught in the schools, then the other education opportunities that are available is through, like I had mentioned before earlier, these mediums, YouTube. Now, Rome, the Empire of Rome, did not fall in a day. This was the largest empire the world had ever seen during its time. And it fell but due to, of course, the lack of its morals and all of that other stuff, but little nicks that was knocked into the government, piece by piece. This barbarian horde would come and attack. Attila the Hun would come and attack. Hannibal would come and attack from the south. You know, these little small groups and factions hitting at the delicate and intricate parts of the society. And eventually it lost its ability to protect from these various missiles thrown in different aspects. Now, why do I use that? I'm saying this type of education that an individual can find on YouTube, now there's some stupidity on YouTube too, but the education that one can find on YouTube that's talking like you are, unity, developing, blah, 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 these are the little missiles that the government at times can't always keep tabs on. So as these little missiles come in and keep attacking the conscious and the mind and the hearts of the people, then eventually over time, through evolution of ourselves, these solutions will start to come. Oh,
What is that?
You may want to take them out. Some smut stuff came up.
How do I take that
You
thing
want
out?
to kick them off. Yes. You got crazy people, and you got stuff like that on YouTube also. There's nothing but trolls.
Yeah. So
Yeah. So yeah, it's idiots. So you got to be careful with these people, you know, who you let in. But anyway, it's just gonna take a little bit of knowledge every time. That's the solution, knowledge.
but the internet is good, right? But the reality is that our Africans brothers and sisters don't have access to it as they don't have it easy as we have it out here. I wish that's something that really would have be helpful. And I have managed to really open the people's, I mean, my family back home on the importance of investing into internet is very helpful. That's the only way. If you really want to learn and develop over there, you're gonna have to invest. Internet is so expensive over there. Not everybody have access to it. And yeah, it would have been great if there were if the government, the leaders really invested at least in helping the people have access to internet, but that's not the case. It's so expensive. You've been there, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, so
Right.
it's very sad. Like it's gonna take centuries for us
Right.
to really understand each other and come together and respect each other. I see a lot of ignorance here on online, a lot of ignorance
Right.
um, from African Americans or Africans, continental Africans. I see people saying stuff they have no idea towards the African Americans, and I have seen people do the same. And when it comes to both groups, to me, African Americans seem to know more about Africans than Africans know about African Americans. And that is due to lack of access. Even though African Americans don't understand certain things when it comes to Africa, you guys still basically have more information. Like you guys are more knowledgeable, even when it comes to history. There's certain history that some African only hear from African American because it was hidden from us. And I'm always appreciative of that. That at least when it comes to African Americans, there were, I don't know how that happened. I know history wasn't taught to African, real history, I would say, were also hidden from African Americans. But I don't know, at one point it was allowed. But in Africa, it's still hidden. Like really, you have to do your own personal research to find out a lot when it comes to even your own tribe. Your average African cannot even tell you the history of its own tribe evolution. It's not taught. Nothing is everything is always scratched on the surface. When it comes, school is not even to educate you. It's not to build you up. School in Africa is just enough for you to serve. They want to keep the children, the youth, at that with that servant mentality. Just go to school because you want to have a job, and when you have a job, you have to have a house, and when you have a house, that's it. There's nothing bigger than that. We're not thinking about like inventing this, conquer the world, uh, request for equality, stuff like that. Your typical African is not thinking about that. My country, in particular, right? People brag so much about what they eat and drink than anything else. They don't value knowledge. When you even want to have a serious, deep discussion, conscious discussion, it gives them headache. They tell you you talk too much, you're thinking too much. They're not interested. Seriously, they're not interested. You will rarely see people sit online and having this kind of discussion in the African community, like in my country. When I would say that it's only now that I'm seeing some people from the English speaking part of Africa, because African Americans are coming and talking online, and with this internet, everybody is joining, and it's starting like really. Let me see, somebody's here. Okay. So it's really starting to
okay. Sorry about that.
No, it's okay. So it's really starting to get other people to show interest. But when it comes to the French part of Africa, oh no. we brag about what we wear, what we drink, what we eat. Yeah, that's what we value. What kind of type of party, whose party is bigger than whose. That's the thing that we talk about.
Right.
Yeah, they like wedding party, birthday party. Yes,
exactly.
And then the African Americans, it's like some of the thing, like like the reality show is influencing a lot of Africans over there in the continent. They are being influenced a lot. Even their thought process now, their speech, their language, everything. It's just like I'm like, do you live in America? And these are things that I only see or hear in reality show. In their mind is like it's how people live over here. So yeah, they are getting influenced a lot. So yeah, thank you, James Brown. Thank you for joining the live.
Hello, how are you doing, ma'am?
I'm good, thank you.
Well, let me just say this. I'm gonna have to leave. I got an appointment, but it was nice being on here, sister. I'm gonna look for your lives in the future, and it was good meeting you. And I say goodbye to everybody. I might check back in the comments later. So
thank you.
Goodbye. See you guys later. Peace.
Thank you for joining in.
Thank you.
Hello, how are you doing, madam?
Hey, I'm good. Thank you. How about you?
I'm doing fine. I'm doing quite fine this evening. The couple of issues that I think that are I'm trying to say this. I'm gonna say most of the issues that I see, because I'm gonna speak to you my background first, because that kind of helps you understand what I look at it. My father is from America. My mother is Afro-Brazilian, so she's from Brazil, right? So I understand from people who necessarily. So I live in both worlds. I speak a pretty good Portuguese also. So when I see a lot of continental Africans, they come to places not knowing the history of said place and just run their script, if that makes sense. So that's like me, as let's say if I was to go to Uganda and then not know the history of Uganda, not know the history of the people, but then say, okay, this is that, I don't like this, or I want to change that, or I have my opinion on this and that necessarily without having took no inventory of anything. Like depends on like because I've been to the African continent at least 4 times already. I've been to South Africa, I have been to Uganda, and I've been in South Uganda, I've been in Ghana so far, and then I went to Morocco. Those places I went to so far. I know the history of these people. And when I mean these people, I literally mean the specific tribes in the area and the country itself. Before I even go there, I even understand the rules and regulations before I get there. And then adding in the fact that when most Africans come to different countries, like they come to America, they just get flat out told just don't mess with any Black American at all. But then they was only told that after was it the 1970s, because I don't know if you know, I think it's the 1970s, 1980s is where majority, I think, of African leaders at that point in time came to the schools and studied, and they came back, and then all of a sudden, if I remember correctly, that's when you got your Mamuma. What is this dude's name from Ghana? Damn, I forgot his name. He was an African leader. I forgot. They had guys from all over. They literally would come study in the West, then come back, and then try to necessarily did work to necessarily to improve their country. But the most of the issue is when they come to places, they don't know the history of nothing. So it's just like, okay, I don't know nothing. I don't really care. I'm just gonna do me. That's fine. You can do that. But then when your agenda start messing with my agenda, that's usually where the upset comes in. Usually.
Do you think that, okay, let's say this. So you think that if Africans people learn about African American, you mean African American or just the whole country, like America?
If you learn that, I think it necessarily depends on what you're saying. If you learn the history of America, you necessarily have to learn the history of African American, because that's literally is woven into the country. Everything that whole country is literally built off the backs of African Americans, right? So it is literally woven into literally everything that is that country, from the banks, from the schools, from even the liquor that most people drink is literally comes from these group of people, right? And just like when I go to Brazil, right, a lot of Africans that I do know, like I know a lot of Nigerians specifically. I'm not saying I don't know what tribe you're from or whatever, whatnot, right? But I know non-Nigerians, when they come over to different countries, they just, I'm gonna do me. F what everybody else is out here doing. I'm just gonna do me, get my money and dip, right? So when you come over my house, like if I came to your house and I start taking food out your refrigerator, and I'm just taking food out your refrigerator, and I'm just looking at you like something wrong with you. Oh, I'm looking at you like something wrong that I'm taking food out your refrigerator. I'm gonna have some real issues with you in a minute. So it don't take too long. And considering that most African Americans necessarily, they are like at best. I ain't gonna say at best. I'm gonna say all right. Some at different levels. So some may be at the higher rung of society, so they may be all right. Or some may be at the lower ring of society, and you pushing in on their financial stuff, and then necessarily, and then you give an attitude. Depends on because some Africans had a layer of superiority. But like I wasn't enslaved. I was like, all right, cool, until they got hit with the stick by the colonial powers themselves. Then it was oh dear God, poor me, all that. So that's usually where I kind of see most of the disconnect come in.
Oh, so that if I were to learn Africa, I mean like America history, I don't think that's gonna be that helpful for me to understand the African American experience in America, because I have to like specifically learn about African American history to understand, like, every little bit of what happened. Um, so I would advise Africans to really learn about African Americans' history. It's very important. And I always do so. I tell people, you guys have to learn, because when you start learning this thing, you start realizing that you did not know much, because they will tell you in Africa, in Africa, that they teach us about like American history, but all we know is one like all we know is that, okay, there were some African that were taken to America to slavery, but we have no idea how harsh slavery was. Like the specific, we don't understand that. We don't know that, so that's why it's not that related. We cannot
I'm gonna call. You know what? I'm gonna call bullshit, because if I said let me enslave, I don't know what tribe you're from, or what country you're from. Because if I said let me enslave you, I'm pretty much sure your mentality gonna be something completely different. Like, I don't think I want that for myself. But that's what I'm gonna say on that. I just say that when I see a lot of Africans necessarily go to different countries, because like I said, because I'm half Afro-Brazilian and half American. So I can literally speak for somewhat of both of the sides. When they go to different places, they don't have an understanding of the history. So when you don't have an understanding of people's history, you're basically gonna go, by nature, you're gonna step on some toes regardless.
Can you tell me something that you think that if an African knew, he would act or behave differently once in America?
I gotta think about it. What would I be? Okay.
Yeah, because
Okay.
learning the history depends on what you're learning. There's a lot of people in Africa that know a lot about African America, like about America, but they don't know the thing that you want them to know about America. Not necessarily.
When I fly this, I think when you see when I meet Africans, I'm gonna say continental Africans. I say continentals, because when I went to South America, South Africa, they literally thought I was balling. Now I do have money. Believe I do have I have a nice job. They thought I was like, okay, when I was out there just doing what I was doing, they thought I had super money, super something, but that's nothing. But I'm gonna go back to the original, which you originally asked me. Okay, let me say this. What should I say? I guess it would come down to, it would just be cultural differences, right? Because just in the sense that why you would do some of the things that you do is dictated by your culture and your environment. I would have to actually take time and actually go, break down specifically and just look through it, because I don't talk to many Africans on my own personal basis. But the Africans that I do run into, it's more of a either, like the other callers say, ignorance, which is one thing I just don't know, and then it's willful ignorance, which is kind of like he said, was worse. And so when I see things, I'll be like, okay, you understand why this person is getting messed with, but then you don't, or you either A, move out the way, which is understandable, or you act like you don't know why it happened. Because I see a lot of continentals that usually come over here, and it's like, you're lazy. That's one thing. I heard a lot of people say, all right, like a lot of continentals come over here and say, you're lazy, you don't want to work, you're in a land of opportunity, you should be, you've been over here for so many years, you should have been able to build this and build that, right? Because I had one dude tell me when I was in college that African Americans didn't build nothing over here. And I'm like, they built not only the country, they built whole townships, the size of almost like literally small states, and then they just got blown up.
It
race
depends
riots and fighting.
Yeah, everything depends on how you look at things. On perspective is, I mean, like, it depends on how you look at it, because even the educated African will have something, will see things differently than what you want him to see. Like, you're talking about African American building America. Some people, even in America, don't believe that African American built America. So it just depends. I have heard, what was his name, Brandon, talking about, and somebody else, I think I watched it live, where he was like, "Oh, stop saying that African American build America. African America they're not the one that uh did the because building America, they were just the workforce. That's what Brandon said, you know. So an African from the continent, when he hears stuff like that from an African American, do you think that he's still gonna value the fact that African American built America? Because
Well,
there's
no.
self-sabotage that goes on. Because black people, first of all, they talk too much. They talk too much. And we still sabotage ourselves. Because when I hear Brandon saying stuff like that, guess what? People are gonna pick up on that, and they're just gonna use it against African American. We are driven by hate towards each other and ego and low self-esteem, all that together, mixed up together. That's, to me, those are the illnesses that
That's that colonial. That's that colonial sickness. I've seen that. I've seen that that mindset all over planet, all over the world, literally, where the population is. I can't even say not even brown, because I've seen that same mindset from people in Korea, where they just like they literally cut their entire face to look more European for some reason, and I just can't understand it. But
oh, really?
Yeah. Oh yeah, hey, when you start traveling, because I work for the army, so when I travel, I went to different places around the world to get an understanding of different cultures and whatnot. Especially because I had the money before the pandemic. You start understanding that, so that's the difference, though. I can't hear. Did she just dip or something, or hello?
Yeah. Wow, that is that.
Oh, okay. Because I didn't know. 'Cause I thought you had disappeared. I thought you had left the live for a second. But
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's basically the issues that I see necessarily when I see getting along. Because all right, just like, okay, if I went to, let's say, Uganda, they got different rules in Uganda, right? You respect those rules in Uganda. When I see put like this, all right, I'll put this right. Most continental Africans, when they come to this country, where do they set up their businesses?
Say it again. What did you say?
When most continental Africans come to America, where do they put up their businesses?
I have no idea. Where did they put?
They can only put them up in a few places, because if you don't speak the language, and we already know that white people have an extreme racism issue, it's only a few places you can set up your business and do business.
Mm-hmm.
So they usually set up okay, in my neighborhood they got plenty of African restaurants or African business and whatnot. When they go and they come, like, they do business and whatnot. But you see what I'm saying? Like, some people come over here and then they set up and they be like, all right, well, F y'all. Just like when you have some Nigerians came to South America, not to South America, but to South Africa, and then a lot of South Africans had a real issue with that. And all of a sudden, we all know how that went. I don't know if you saw the news, but
Yeah,
it went left real quick, real fast, right? Because of the issues that they had over there with people. You coming up, you setting up stuff, and then you're not respecting the laws and whatnot, and how people set up and how they do business over there. You just, okay, I'm doing me. I'm gonna get this money, and then I'm gonna go back to where I'm at, right? And I see what I'm saying. Like, you can't abuse the land and abuse the people and get your little piece of what you deserve, or what I'm not gonna say deserve, but what you want, and then say, okay, all cool, I'm gonna take this little bit, and then I'm just gonna go. It's kind of like when I see Africans in America, that I see that mentality is F everybody, I'm doing me, I'm doing my tribe thing, and then cool. That's fine. You can be that way, but just understand when it comes, to everything else, we can do I don't mess with you. Then I'm like say, then you Senegalese, you don't know AAs need to be over there, because like then when they come to Brazil, when they start to set up, like, they got a lot of Ghanaians. Oh yeah, plenty of Ghanaians actually started coming to Brazil, setting up restaurant and businesses. The people still go there and work with them and whatnot, and still either talk and do business. But it's just the mentality when you come over there and do business, and your mentality when you're over there. It's kind of really it. With most continentals, they either do that necessarily, and I usually see when I see what is it? The diaspora, I guess you want to call them. When they go over there, I see some real effed up. I'm gonna say some, not all, but I see some where they just have this. Okay, I have so much more money than these people. Let me just do what the fuck I want. Because I've seen people do that crap too when they come over to like, what is it? Not Ghana. It wasn't Ghana, but in Uganda, I saw a couple people. They had a little extra money. You couldn't tell them shit necessarily. Excuse my French, as they say.
You mean African
About what they wanted to do and how they were trying to, and what they were doing.
You mean African Americans in Uganda? Is that what?
Not necessarily. Not only African Americans. I've seen this mentality from South America. Okay, I'm gonna speak for people that I specifically know. I'm gonna say I see that sometimes with Brazilians also. So I can't speak for some. I'm gonna say some, or at least the ones that I've seen. I can't say every person I saw, but at least some. That's all.
So like all this are still us talking about the issues that we have. What are the solutions? What do you think the solutions are to this problem?
In my personal opinion, I don't know, man, because I'm gonna say unless you got some people out here really want to, like, most people don't want to come off their high horse for whatever reason. I don't think most people don't want to come off their high horse. So unless you really want to sit down and actually have a real conversation and do actually, I don't see it. And most people are not willing to either come off their high horse or do anything necessarily that's not going to benefit them, right? So if it means I got to give 2 eggs out of my refrigerator to necessarily to squash this issue, I lose 2 eggs, so F it, I'm not going to do it. You know what I mean?
But do you agree with me? Because that's what I was saying to the previous caller, that for me, the main issue is that a lot of us, when I say us, I'm talking about Black people in general, right? Don't mind living in the condition we are in right now, that we don't control anything. Because someone asked me here what the goal was. What was the main goal? My understanding is that the main goal is for, I don't know how to get this. The main goal is for Black people to be self-reliable.
Say that last part again. I'm sorry, your accent is a little deep.
To me, the main goal of for Black people to rely on themselves.
Well, be self-reliant. Okay.
Yeah.
And if that goes, if you want to be just self-reliant, okay. I'm gonna tell you my answer to that is simple, but that ain't a YouTube answer. It ain't. It's not a YouTube answer, and I'm saying because like you say something wrong on YouTube, they can take down your channel. I'm not going to say that to take down your channel. So I'm gonna say it like
you
that.
You can write it. Maybe you can write it in the comment so that we can know and share. Because that's why I'm here today. I really want to know because I don't know.
Okay, I'm gonna say it like this. Unless you have a lot of unless the African leaders, which are some of these African leaders are figureheads. They're put there. If you study enough and look at it enough, some of these people are just
symbolic. Everybody knows that. Yeah, they're not there for the people. They don't even hide it. They don't even pretend. So it's not something that we're gonna.
Okay. All right. So if you understand that the person who is in control of all your money, your schooling, your finances, your trade is not with you, it's only 1 or 2 ways you're gonna have to handle that.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, right. So then that means that you're gonna have to do one or two things necessarily to you won't either have to pay somebody to beat them in a race, or we know the other way. So
Yeah.
unless you got people on the continent ready to kind of move people who necessarily are not
But
in
don't
line
forget.
with the collective or
Okay.
in line with the betterment of the people, you can't really go too far. You know what I mean? Because if I go over there, let's say if I want to go over there and set up some schools, and I wanted to teach some books, and I wanted to necessarily get the code is so the code, and let's say the average Ugandan to like a certain level, right? Or the reading capability of your average Ugandan to a certain level. I'm gonna run into some financial issues necessarily on one end and some political issues on the other end that I'm gonna have to run into. I'm not also adding that necessarily the people themselves, right? So it's gonna be a whole fight all the way process. And and it's kind of that's really what I see it as. It's gonna be you would need continental Africans necessarily understanding that, or I'm gonna say educated enough to understand that these leaders are not necessarily here to set that to help you, and to understand that I have to be more educated with that, which means you need to A, go to school or have the internet. And if you don't have either one of the two set up, you're not going to be quick as quick on the uptake as everybody else, because everybody else to get information lightning speed. Like literally, an invention can come out today, and everybody in the world can know about it. But somebody, let's say, in I don't know, maybe the Congo, because I don't know. Let's say the Congo got rolling blackouts, and not everybody got phones over there. They wouldn't know about it until almost 2 months later, 4 months later. So you see what I'm saying? So that's time and energy that necessarily that you wouldn't necessarily have to be like, okay, this new invention is here. We should necessarily see if we can get our hands on it, or get some or get the patent for it, or whether trade another country for it, or whatever you need to do for whatever information you need, or whatever you need. You're not going to get in the time, so you're always behind. You're always two steps behind.
Yeah, everybody knows that. Like, you're going too far about being behind. I mean, I wouldn't even mind if we were safe. First of all, if we can be sick and have access to good health care, if we are educated properly. You're going too far. Let's start with the basic. We don't even have those. We don't have anything. So they're not even thinking about, like, they know that they have those power, that they obey, that they are um loyal to protect them, like
Yeah, exactly.
my
So my bad. Can continue. I'm sorry.
yeah, I was saying that my country, for example, we depend on France, and we know that everybody like, we know that France is gonna defend us.
Wait, what?
That's what I'm saying. My country depends on France, right? France.
France, yeah. Yeah, because you're from Cameroon, correctly?
Yeah.
Correct. Okay,
So,
I was trying to place that accent a little bit. I was like, sound like a Cameroonian, but I wasn't too
no,
sure.
I don't sound like a Cameroonian. Sorry, I don't.
Really? Okay,
No.
wow.
How would you be able to tell, to distinguish?
Well, because first off, you got like you said French. First off, right? So that only means by default that only means a certain amount of countries, right?
No,
and then when I kept hearing you speak, I was like, okay, well, it seems similar to like other Cameroonians I've met, So like I'm pretty good at I can pretty much almost tell a Nigerian from a Ghanaian by how they talk. I can tell maybe a Cameroonian from Congolese from how they talk. It's just the small things I picked up by just traveling enough.
Okay. Yeah. That is, yeah, that's cool. That's nice, because usually people don't tell. They always ask me if I'm Jamaican. I'm like, I don't even know where Jamaica is. So
oh God, you gotta learn that geography, man. You gotta know where you is on the planet at all times.
I like 90% of the time they will be asking me if I'm from Jamaica. I don't like. No, I wish I was.
Ooh, I don't know. Depends. What country do you live at necessarily? What you currently live in? You mind me asking?
In America.
Oh yeah, we all some idiots out here. Don't. I be there's some idiots out here. Don't be.
Yeah. So what I was saying was this, right? Like it seemed to surprise you, but that is just the truth. Don't let anybody lie to you. Don't and let, people want to pretend on this YouTube street when like they're like, oh, my country is not this, my country is not that, my country is better. No, it's they're all bullshit country. What? Not bullshit. What did you say? Shitholes countries. Those African countries are the same when it comes to a lot of stuff. They're similar. There's no good education system there. There's no good health care there. What kind of a human being are you? Do you think that you're gonna get out of a system that's like that? Those systems are self-destructive. They're not progressive, right? They don't want. They don't like excellence. If you're brilliant, they don't like you. They hate you. They will kill you, basically.
Oh, you talking about in your country?
I mean, the whole Africans, especially sub-Saharan African, like
Mm.
that's the mentality over there. That's the system, we have a self-destructive system.
I noticed that to a degree. I mean, like I've noticed that every place that necessarily the European went, they set up the same system, whereas it's a self-destructive system to basically either A, makes you hate yourself, two, work for their benefit. Like I say white supremacy is more than it's an ideal. And one of the craziest things I heard people say is it's hard to kill an idea. So in a mentality. It's like an idealism, and it's an ideal in a mentality. And when that seeps into a person's being, it's literally like poison, as I see it. Yeah. So
Yeah.
if it doesn't benefit you, so I'll be like,
No, it
but
doesn't. We don't do anything that benefit us. Like we have brilliant should kids, we have uh geniuses, we have everything that anybody else from any other part of the world has. But the issue there is the system, is the way we think, in this mindset, and the basically make you like that, like they program you from when you like in kindergarten to
indoctrination.
yeah, to your adulthood, and they basically brainwash you on purpose just to serve the interest of Europe. Like it basically, it's just so sad. And then some people understand the mechanism, some people don't, and that's what I see here on panels. Africans just arguing daily over the same issue. Like they will sit on the panel talking about the same issue at different times and arguing.
In a circle. I've seen these conversations because my algorithm kind of just it throws things like my way that way sometimes, and I'll see them. It's like eight folk on the panel just yelling for like 2 hours, and I'm like, you can't hear one person even talking over the other person because they just yelling at each other, and I'd be like, so yet y'all want to. I'd apply this unless the mentality of the people change on the continent, and adding that with at least some level of schooling or internet, is not going to be much of a change, because if you can't have open lines of communication, you can't work together. You can't coordinate nothing without communication. I can't tell you go right, go left. I'm like a football guy, so let me say if I say go wide ring on the screen or something like that or whatever, right? Like you have to understand and know what I'm saying before you can even act to do that. So it's more of a mindset of you got to understand where you are compared to and where you're trying to go to, and understanding the field around you or the people around you necessarily to move. And when I see a lot of continentals depend on necessarily their station in life, they don't understand that, or they do understand that, and they just do the willful ignorance thing. So when you got willful ignorance and ignorance together, that's the clusterfuck. That is literally a clusterfuck waiting to happen. So you got one person over here, oh, I know what's going on, but I ain't gonna say nothing. And then another person is, I don't know what's going on, so I'm just gonna do what you tell me to do. So that's just like a recipe for disaster. Literally a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. That's what I always say. That you guys, especially the African American, having conversation with Africans, it's either they don't know or they know they don't want to acknowledge it. That's how they are. And it's not solving any problem. It's not helping at all.
Excuse me, I have a question. How you say your name again?
Mamiza?
Mamiza? I almost said Mamiza. I like that makeup. You looking real sexy though.
I'm sorry,
Looking
what?
real nice on your make. I was saying you look real nice with your makeup. You look real nice.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
Mhm. So some people know what's going on and just pretend that it's not there. Even on the ground at home, that's how it is, and that's why it's so hard to uh to
It
move
sounds like a house
forward.
divided amongst itself. That's what it sounds like.
Because one group, right, benefits from the system being the way it is. That's what
Exactly.
feed them. And but the majority of people are suffering, are struggling, are dying daily.
Hey,
But
I have friends that went to Nigeria, and I keep I'm gonna start saying I'm gonna say it because I don't want to keep pulling these people in here. But when I have other friends who go to different African countries, they say they saw it like one group over there necessarily. It's more like the divide and conquer strategy, and they just been working that since
yeah,
I don't know 18th,
that's true.
16th century.
We
They
have
just
learned
basically been
so
running that.
well. Yeah, we have learned so well from our colonizer, and we are doing so good. I just like hanging it over generation after generation. I mean, like it's crazy the way we are against any type of critical thinking when it comes to like school and the way that they educate the children there. You're not allowed to ask questions. You just have to memorize and
And
regurgitate.
but I'm gonna tell you that's most school. I came into the realization as I'm 29 now, so I'm kind of old. I'm getting ready. Damn.
You are so old.
But I figured that out even in this country. They don't teach you. They teach you information. They don't teach you how to think, or necessarily. I'm gonna say how to think, but they don't teach you knowledge. I was gonna say knowledge. What is it be? They don't teach you how to be truly self-efficient necessarily for you to understand that, okay, this is what I need to do for this situation. They give you enough information to do what they need you to do.
Yeah, I hear people say that here, but I don't know about that. But okay, where do they give you? Where do they teach you how to think then?
Okay,
When you think that about American school system, I don't know what you say if you go to Africa and kind of like hang around. Just go to school and see how they teach the children over there. I don't know what you're gonna say. So
it's
what?
the same thing. It's the same, like, because you over
I
here,
don't
you
think
can't
so.
really question this teachers.
Mm-mm. No,
Because
I don't
if
think so. Here you can question. You can ask question in class.
and
You
then you
cannot.
fail. No. This is that's the difference. Like you see what I'm saying? Like, okay, maybe I can't say maybe on the continent you can't even ask the question. Over here you can ask the question. They're gonna look at you and they're gonna be like, okay, you can ask. That's a nice little question. And then she gonna put an F on your on your paper, and then
That's
you gonna either have to come back next year, or you gonna have to necessarily do whatever. If you pay money, you gonna have to get some more money. If it was for free, then you gonna have to do the whole class over again. Oh, so that's the difference. Like, so they'll listen. It's like, oh, really? F. All right. Again, so your
that.
question gonna be heard. You
That's
know, it's
not
different.
my experience.
So you know, that now trust me. I promise you, when I grew up here in this, I don't know if you did. I think they call it primary to what I don't know what do y'all call it again? Secondary and primary, or I don't know how y'all.
Maybe it depends on how you ask, though.
The I assure you, you challenge that professor in his class about necessarily only any historical, like, okay, all right, this is one simple thing that you can Google it right now. Thomas Edison's get credit for building the light bulb. Now, most AA Americans don't understand that that's not true. He invented the glass covering for the light bulb. The filament, which goes inside necessarily all the inner workings, was made by an African American man. But he does not get, he gets a small sub credit on the back end that you really never even see unless you go looking for it, right? So if I was to go bring that up, they'll be like, well, you know, no, so and so and so and so. And then all of a sudden, when you get your paper again, it's gonna be an F. That's just the reality. Like if you try to challenge them people and say, well, I actually got proof, and then because I'm literally saying, if you go look at it and you say, who invented necessarily the light bulb right now, it's gonna say Thomas Edison, right? But then if you go down far enough in the back in the corner on the side screen, it's gonna say a black guy's name. So then it's like, wait a minute. So did he invent it or he didn't invent it? Then there's a whole, maybe, I don't know. There's all types of issues start coming in. So it's just like it's more of that situation.
Well, I guess it's everywhere, but at least over here they're teaching you your history, even though if it's not complete history. We don't have that privilege to learn about who, and especially in a place like you we I mean we in our country, that's where everything originated. We were never displaced to elsewhere. We have the right. I mean, like, we have the right to know about what happened to our people there, so that we can understand the dynamic. We can understand why things are the way they are. Because I believe that if we were really taught our real history over there, it will make things.
It'll be a whole fight. It'll be like, I can tell you, like I'm for a fact, right? When I did the entire history of Afro Brazilians, and I did the entire history of African Americans, literally, you can't stay here for an extended period of time once you've done the information. Because it took me at least 4 years of information, because I'm putting the information together by myself. I got I can pay people to do some of the information for myself, but then I always got to redouble check, because me personally, I like sources, because I'm not going to take information that somebody give me and just not double check it. So by that fact, when I actually did a full spectrum of necessarily what the experience necessarily in AA and an American, and then I seen experience of a Brazilian, when I started looking at this, I was like, oh, ain't no way in hell I'm gonna be out here at the local Gap or the Macy's just talking to no white dude willy-nilly, unless we talk about business. Other than that, I ain't really got no conversation to talk about. But that's part of the colonial mindset. That's part of the indoctrination in the first place. I'm gonna put intentional gaps in your knowledge base, so that when it's time for me necessarily to pull this necessarily say mental judo on you, it can work. Basically, that's all.
Well, even with that, to me, America is way better when it comes to like the way that they treat their children. They even like build your self-esteem in telling you that you can do this, you can be this, you have to focus on what you do. We don't get none of that when we're in Africa. In Africa, they're happy to see you fail. Even the teacher in class is happy when you when you don't do good on your on your test. Can you imagine that? I mean,
I'm gonna tell you two things. Look up the doll test in America necessarily. That's a historic. That's a huge thing necessarily. So if you ever get the chance to do the doll test necessarily, when you got the little kids where they're self-esteem, they be like, "What doll is the good doll?" They all point at the white doll. What doll is the pretty
I
doll?
already watched that.
Say it again.
I have watched that though. I have seen that.
Yeah, so when you understand that, then you understand that most of the teachers in America are white female. Do you think a white female is going to actually work against her white man necessarily to uplift you?
I mean, they can only do what they can. It's not. I mean, like, it doesn't matter what the teacher is. There's only certain things that the teacher is going to be able to do for you. You understand? Because we live in a system.
Yeah.
I understand what you're talking about. Like, when it comes to the system, that teacher can only do whatever they can. And you guys in America have like a regulation. You like you have laws and regulation. I mean, to say,
Regulation, yeah.
you have like policy. We don't have anything. We have nothing. It's just like you are the mercy of the teacher's mood and stuff like that. The day he's happy, the class is going to be happy. The day he's upset, the class is upset. So there's not really a standard there. There's nothing. The teacher can basically give you a zero. No one gonna ask you. You have no way of even complaining. You know, there's nobody you're gonna go talk to and stuff like that. But whereas in America, you there's way that you can trying to get like justice when you feel like you were done wrong. You know, it's completely different. I mean, especially I want you to understand the mindset. Like when it comes to Africa, right? Your typical African person is not even aware that he deserves certain things. You know, he's not aware of it. He's just happy to live, and he's just grateful to have what to eat, what to.
So he's happy to survive. You know, just I made it to tomorrow. Thank
Yes,
God I made it to tomorrow.
we have
So
two completely different like issue. Even though we have struggle, battle to fight, we have completely
I'm gonna say
different.
I actually say I think necessarily the struggle is exactly the same. Necessarily, it's just to different levels. Because I trust me, I know a lot of American African American that's like they struggling. They is one paycheck away from losing their house. They one paycheck away from losing their car. They is one paycheck away necessarily from their whole life for being effed up necessarily. And like, but only difference between that necessarily and the continent is on the continent, like you said, they may work a whole month before they get, but and not get paid. You don't pay me my first week, my first 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Oh, best believe we gonna have an issue. But like I just think necessarily on the continent, they'll be a little bit more willing to say, all right, I'm gonna give it a chance because there's not enough opportunities. My question is, I'm like, when I did my work, but like most, I'm gonna say most AAs, it's like, hey man, if I ain't getting paid right now, that money in my hand, because we already been through the necessarily not being paid process part. It's like, wait a minute, homeboy. So I'm gonna need my money up front. So it's like, so you don't even get the credit to even pull that over here. So the credit is like, no, you ain't got no credit. With my money first. So that's just a little different. That's all. If I believe if they could pull it, they probably would pull it. But that's all I'm gonna say. But I'm gonna go ahead and stop off and get off because I gotta go to the gym and work out though. But thank you, man. Great speaking to
Well,
you.
thank you for stopping by. Thank
You're
you.
welcome, Adam.
Yeah, thanks. I think yeah. So, well, I'm getting to the end of my life, and unfortunately, I still don't have the solution that I was looking for. Uh, I have received some suggestion, but not really anything tangible. It's really sad. It's really hard. I'm disappointed. I don't know what we're gonna do. I guess we're just gonna continue having this conversation till um, we decide to find solution. And what I can say that on the individual level, I believe that each and every one of us should work on themselves. It's so important. Even the leaders are people like you guys and I. I don't know why this camera is like that. I don't know why. I don't know if it's my internet signal or what, but the lighting is weird. The lighting is weird. But anyway, what I'm saying is that I don't know what we're gonna do. I have read the comments. I don't think I have seen anyone giving me a tangible solution. Um, Thank you for my panelist. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming on the panel and giving me your opinions. But like I said, there's nothing tangible that resulted from this live. It's unfortunate. I guess none of us has the solution. We all know what the problems are. We all talk about them. We can talk about them the whole day. I mean, they will never end. The issue is us. For me, the issue is us. Is individual. We have to be able to settle our emotion and look at the bigger picture. Ask ourselves, what do we want to accomplish? Where do we want to go? What do we want to do? And for people that are here, I don't know if you guys have the same intention. I don't know if you guys have the same vision. Because for me, I would really like to see that we as people, when I'm saying people, I'm talking about the people that worry about the black race, that we can have a say on what's happening around the world, that we can have people that look like us, uh, that are among the people that make decision for the future of the world, that we can have a powerful system built by black people, especially African people. You know, Africa is so weak and vulnerable. Africa needs to stand up. Africa needs to join the world. Like Africa is so behind. Some people think that Africa is just where it's supposed to be, and for a very long times, for a very long time, us African children have been taught to just accept where we are and know that that's who we are. Like we think so less of ourselves. We have such low expectation. uh, we believe that, well, Africa is just the back of the world. I mean, it's the last continent in the world. It should remain like that. No, we don't have to accept that. We do not. We can change our mindset. Um, like what it start with it doesn't even start with countries. It start with tribes. People talk about tribalism. Tribalism is a problem in Africa because African leaders have failed on how to deal with them. I mean, how to deal with it. If we can use tribalism positively to really empower ourselves, we can use tribalism positively to really build the country. We can use tribalism positively to accomplish a lot, but we're gonna have to like make it be systematic. We have to really sit down and figure out ways on how to use tribalism positively, because tribalism in itself is not a bad thing. It's the way that we use it. We use it to hate each other. Loving your tribe is not something that should be a problem to someone else. Loving your tribe is loving yourself, is loving who you are. That's who you are. That's your identity. That's your culture. That's where you raise. There's no way you can run away from it. You can embrace it, but use it in a positive way to impact and to how do you say it? You use it positively to impact. You use it positively to influence. You use it positively, to inspire other people. Each tribe, if we were using tribalism positively in Africa, we will basically even compete with each other positively. I'm not talking about like uh the way we're doing it right now. We're competing with each other, but on a negative, in a negative manner. That's not helping. When I look at my country, my dear country, I love my country so much, but tribalism is like to the roof right now in my country. Anything that's happening is tribalized. Right now, there's a competition over there. There's a soccer competition that's going on in Cameroon, and they have already tribalized it. They are using the competition to fight each other. They're telling you, oh, this tribe decided not to show up at a stadium. This other tribe, because they don't want what's going on, decided to not show up to support the national team, forgetting that people don't have the same problem. There is a team that was playing in a west part of the country. I believe it was yesterday. there's a team that was playing over there. There's a stadium over there because the I don't know if you guys know about the competition that's going on in Cameroon right now. I don't know how you guys call it in 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 English, but it's a soccer competition. It's an African soccer competition that's going on. Cameroon is hosting it this year, so it's going on. It started on Sunday, and it's going on. So they have already tribalized it. There is the opening ceremony was in the main capital of Cameroon, which is Yaoundé. The stadium was full of people. So now they have people, the different countries, the team for the different countries that are comparing, have to go play in different part of the country. So yesterday there was there was two countries that were playing in a different part of the country where no one showed up in the stadium. There were 27. They said 27 people that show up, uh, that show up to watch the soccer, to watch the people play the soccer. And now they're saying that that part of the country is sabotaging the competition. That's why they did not show up to the stadium. Who does that? Who does that? Please, you guys tell me. Who does that? And that part of the country is a very poor area where many people from that region live, are farmers. So the game was at 2 p.m. And at 2 p.m., many people are farming. They're in their farm working. They're either in their farm or they are in their shop. They are traders, you know. They're either in the farm or at the shop. Really, they're not gonna leave their what they do for a living, what's bringing them money, to go watch some game that's not gonna bring anything to their life. So they did not show up to the stadium. Now the whole country is saying that, oh, that tribe is against the competition, just because the people from that region did not go to the stadium to watch the game. But they never thought about, okay, can they afford it? And the tickets are so expensive. The tickets are way beyond what they can afford. But no, they're not looking at that. They're not looking at the true issue. They are just, as usual, looking away and using, who's that? Hey to you, Amilcar X, yes. So they're using an argument that is not reflecting the truth, just to divide people. We were divided before by tribalism. We have learned from our colonizer how to use tribalism to hurt each other. We don't have to. We can use it like to love and embrace each other. We can learn from each other. We can support each other. We can uplift each other. We can compete with each other. I always say that if we were to use tribalism positively, we can I don't know, we can have a how do you call that, like, anyway, this is for the leaders to plan. It's not for me. I'm just suggesting. I just have so many ideas in my mind right now. Support Mali right now. You support Mali? Are you from Mali? Are you talking about what's happening in Mali, or are you talking about the Africans soccer? What are you talking about, Matthew? Matthew B52. What you talking about? Maybe you should jump up here and tell me what you're talking about. Because I know there's a situation right now with Mali that I don't even want to get into. It's just so sad. I don't even know what. Like, when I think about Africa, it's depressing. It's depressing when you want to look at the reality of what's on the ground, on the ground. ECOWAS is ganging up on Mali, putting sanction. Ah, okay, that's what you're talking about. Yeah, I know what you're talking about exactly. I don't even want to get into that. It's crazy. Um, like I told you, the whole African as function with the same system. You know, only maybe the northern part of Africa is kind of like different. Maybe I don't know what they're doing over there so much. I don't know much about what's going on over there because those people never consider themselves to be African. So really, it doesn't matter to me. Senegal need to be the ally. Yeah, everybody needs to be the ally. Why do we have to leave them, let them dry like that? They've been using those tactics forever to divide Africa and conquer Africa. You know, yeah, everybody's supposed to support Mali with what's going on right now. But well, you know, we just talking. We have no power. Even us on the internet, we just talking. You know, we just talking. We just discussing this thing, but really we have no power. I just wish that more Africans in Africa will get some kind of education or knowledge about the reality of the world they live in because they don't know. They do not know. These people don't know. I'm telling you. They're just thinking about what they're gonna have as next meal and when. They're not there thinking about like and they believe everything that the media fits them, you know. And the main media there is like it's European media. The main media, unfortunately, everybody it's on the cable network, and all the cable network is like French media. What for people from France, of course, it's either French media or American media or UK media. Our media cannot compete at all. They believe everything that France 24 or whatever, France 24, France Radio, all those people, they believe anything, especially when it's coming from France. That's how it is. We are programmed to think and act like that. So, yeah. So, what are we going to do? If France want to manipulate us, they're going to do whatever they want with us. They just have to like announce things that are not true in the on the radio, on TV, and we're gonna believe it. That's how it is. It's so dangerous to go to my country like Cameroon and start like uh having anti-French speeches. They're gonna your life is gonna be in danger. Your own people gonna turn against you. I cannot. I just come here and talk with people that understand what's going on, and I'm grateful that um I have this platform where I can come whenever I want, whenever I feel like talking, and come and talk and find like-minded people, people um that think about the same issue, that show interest in the same issue that I value, that we can discuss, share ideas, you know? Yeah, I have been talking for how long? When you come up here, you never know how fast times fly. 2 hours and 23 minutes. So, well, yeah, I think I exhausted this topic. I mean, I think I'm gonna come back here yet tomorrow because nobody gave me any answer. So, guys, I'm coming back here tomorrow. I'm still waiting for my solutions. What can we do? What can we do to get along, to understand each other and value each other? What can we do to become a group of people that can sit around a table and talk about an issue and find solution without fighting each other? Fighting each other because of ego, lack of emotional intelligence, because people get hurt over words, over terms, over the way somebody else says something, not focusing on the main Thank you. Thank you to you, Amir Car X. Thank you. Yeah. So how do we sit around a table and find solution for our issue? Because when it comes to issue, we have tons of them. It's not only African Americans uh, that have issue. Africans have a lot of issue, and my presence on YouTube is really more oriented to Africans issue because that's what I'm the most knowledgeable of. When it comes to African Americans issue, I will not speak too much on it because really, there's some detail that I might not understand, not know. Uh, Listen to each other first without judging and or insulting. Yeah, Matthew, you can come tell me more about what you're saying. Uh, you guys know that we can listen to each other. You have to listen to each other and understand each other. That's what I want. That's the main thing. We can listen to each other without understanding each other. I've seen it on this panel, trust me. I'm always listening. Whenever Mr. Uganda is on, Mr. Uganda, when Mr. Uganda is on, I'm listening. Whether I'm at work, I'm cooking, I'm doing something, I'm listening. When African Millennial is on live, I'm listening. I'm at work, anywhere. Now there's another person I like to listen to is Affidemus. But Affidemus, he is like Affidemus is he's confusing sometimes, like, but he's such a smooth talker. Like he's just like, ladies and gentlemen. Ah, and Africa, and you will win me as a subscriber. Stick your topics on Africa and Africans. That's what I just said, right, Matthew? That's what I just said. I rather speak about something that I understand. Like when it comes to African issue, I understand African issue left, back, up, every corner of it. And I'm not gonna lie to you. African issue lies on Africans, the person like us, the products of what the system has done to us. Our problem is so serious. It's mental. It's a very serious problem that many of Africans first don't acknowledge because of, lack of self-awareness, ignorance, or maybe they just want to deal with it. And like I say, the emotional part is a big deal, because when you point it to them, they get upset at you. They're like, oh, it's not important. Why are you talking about like go to Africa, you're gonna first see how people talk to each other. Too much energy that we spend. We always screaming, we always shouting. It's not even like they don't even know how to communicate. Like I think we all can never get along, so we have to work with that reality. Okay, I want to accept that Leonard Katongole. I want to understand that, right? If we cannot get along, when you say we, what are you talking about? You mean who and who? Because it's not only about us not getting along with other Africans, other country or maybe the diaspora. It's even in our tribes. If we learn how to understand, to value each other, even in the family unit, I think we can learn how to value each other outside of our family and like country, tribe, everything like that. Even in the family itself, we don't even know how to get along. Do we get along with our family member that much? Do we get along with our neighbors or our tribes? Everybody is our tribe. Like in my country, right? If I take an example from my country, like this person and that person will gang up to hate on you because you're not from their tribe. But those two people that gang up against you, right, and kick you out of a group will not remain in the group and do something tangible, do something positive, build something, accomplish something. They don't. Because the moment they kick you out, guess what they're doing? They're fighting each other. That's what they're doing. So we always have that energy of fighting, like it's serious. I wish my English was so good that I can like break this down on the smallest piece in the smallest pieces so that you guys can understand what I mean. Me, I focus on individual. Trust me. Your ability to like be patient, understand what's being explained to you, and the way you respond to it, and the way you comprehend it, and the way you react to it. That's what we're lacking. We are so impulsive. We are so immature. The major the majority of us, I'm talking about African in Africa. Everybody is just so impulsive and whiny, complaining. It's all about complain. People are not solution oriented. African people don't know how to deal with things. They don't know how to find solution when it comes to issues. They will sit there and whine over the same issue years after years after years. They don't know how to solve their problem. They do not. And no one is going to tell me otherwise. They are very good at pretending. They are very good at spending. They like to destroy. That's what we are good at. If you have a different opinion, come and express it here. If you know something that I don't know, please come tell me because I don't understand. It's not even us not being able to get along with other tribes or maybe with other people from outside of Africa. It's not even about that. It's about our inability as human being. You understand? Asian, for example, the Chinese and Japanese are not friendly to each other but have learned to get along to make business. Yeah, that's what I'm telling you here. I'm not talking about getting along that I have to love you and you like me and like you. That's not what I'm saying. African people don't know how to be goal oriented. When you are goal oriented, right, you have the ability to sometimes uh, silence your little ego or needs or want. You are ready to sacrifice that to reach the main goal, because when we reach the main goal it benefits every single one of us. So to me, the demon is inside us. Is every single one of us has a gigantic demon that is like that. Why are you laughing, Hannah? What did I say that was funny though? So our demons is inside. The beast is inside. It's like the ego, the whining. I mean, like, oh my God, it's horrible. And you know when you cannot silence your ego and your emotion, you cannot be objective, no matter what. You're always gonna make decision that cannot last. You're going to find solutions that are temporarily because emotion, the way you feel is just temporarily. you might not feel the same tomorrow, but you have already made a long-term uh, decision. This topic is so tired, though. What does that mean, though? I don't know what you mean by that. Tell me, explain more. It's tired. This is a deep concern of mine, guys. I'm not joking. Like every single day, I wonder how. When I look at my country, right, and I see how people behave, tribalism is killing my country. Tribalism, just because of tribalism, people are not ready to really like make the right decision and be objective. You cannot be objective with tribalism because you're always gonna let your feeling take over. You cannot think objectively when uh, uh, um, you rely on tribalism, and we have done it so much that it has become our belief system. People really, but yeah, I know Spencer bits. Yeah, it's been an issue for years, but we have to come to we have to find solution for it. That's why I'm telling you guys that we are not good at solving our problem. We are good at like ruminating the same old stuff over and over and over again. So what is the solution, Spencer? Can you tell me? Everybody has a gigantic ego in Africa. I hear sometimes African Americans say that African American is entitled. Go to Africa, you will see how entitled they are. They are so entitled. The moment that you try to help someone, even in our families, oh my God, keep saying it's tribalism and these Abrahamic religions. Yeah, yes. So, but yeah, we know all we know what the issues are, but how do we deal with it? The issue of religion, how do we deal with it? You know, it's very hard. Okay, let me tell you how Africans are entitled, right? I know it's paradoxal, but it's they are entitled. That's why they scam you. Because when they see you, right, in their mind is that you have money and you should not even complain about losing money. Solution is for the African Union to follow the blueprints of the EU with regard to unity. That's vague, Leona. That's vague. The African Union's representative, right? They are human beings like you and I. It's in the mind. If they don't think, if there are solution, if they cannot be objective, if the way they're thinking, their mindset is not conducive to uh to helping Africa really stand on their feet, because everybody's faking. Even the African Union is a fake organization, it's not there for Africa. It's not there for the advancement of Africa. That organization is financed by European. What do you expect? Huh? What do you expect? African Union themselves, they have their hands tied. They're not free. They cannot like really make a decision. um I have seen a lot of people over there having the good talk, but when it comes to implementing what they're saying, they're not doing that. Not at all. They're doing something completely. Yeah, that's what I said earlier. The two beasts in us African black people: ego, and our ego is covered. Is an is cover. How do you say that? So our ego uh is hidden. No, it's covered by our inferiority complex. People feel inferior. African black people, I don't know, African black whatever, feel African people feel inferior. It's in their subconscious. It's in their subconscious mind, right? And to kind of like, why do we have to cause no, why do we have to accuse the prisoner, as you said, knowing that these people who put you in there do not want you out? I don't even know what that means. Whatever. I don't know what you said that in relation in relation to. Did I say something that caused you to say that? I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, what I was saying is that do not misinterpret. Do not misinterpret the African ego. African ego is a disguised low self-esteem, right? Because people that have low self-esteem always want to remind you how big they are, just to cover up that low self-esteem that they have of themselves. That's why egos, like, let me just not say anything. I don't want to say people name over here, but I have seen on panels how men will become so low to the point of insulting each other. And that's exactly what they do in parliament in Africa. When you see them in parliament, like discussing um, the country's matter, they will start fighting. Misplaced ego, useless ego. Never get jib with that. Those are low self-esteem people. Because when you are confident, right? It doesn't matter what the other person is saying to you. If you have self-confidence, if you let me see. Yeah, if you have self-confidence, it will not be it will not matter so much. You can be upset. Being upset is like is natural. But to go to certain extent just because somebody upset you or someone contradict you, no, that's something else. That's low self-esteem, inferiority complex. In Africa, oh, I need to come here tomorrow. I gotta go. I have to take my kids to uh let me see. I have to take my kids to their extracurricular activities. So thank you so much to anyone that stopped here. I really appreciate your time. I really value your time. Thank you very much for listening to me ramble. Because, like someone else said, we have been talking about this thing forever. And it's European are fighting in their parliament all the time. Watch the video. Listen, Matthew. Listen, let me tell you something. You don't understand what I'm saying. When they fight, they end up they're fighting because they want the best solution. They want to get somewhere. African people are not fighting like that. They're fighting just because they're not fighting the idea. When it comes to African, they're not fighting the idea that's being expressed. They're not fighting the idea that's being expressed, but they're fighting the person that expressed the idea. That's different. That's different. Because really quick, when it comes to Africans, it becomes personal. It becomes personal attacks. It doesn't matter if they put their hand on each other. You will see that at the end, right? They're aiming for solution. African people don't fight like that. They're fighting for ego. He can be like whatever he has said, like whatever he has suggested can be could have been debunked, right? Could have been proved that it's wrong, whatever he has said. But he will still stand there and fight just because somebody debunked it. What kind of sense does that make? Like somebody can come and tell you something and you bring evidence that whatever they're saying is not true. He will not address that, but he will attack you for bringing up evidence that whatever they say is true. That's low self-esteem, you know, because the idea should be to find the best solution for the problem, no matter from who it's coming from. How it ended. Yeah, Africscope. Do you understand what I'm saying? Africscope. Thank you for being here anyway. I don't know what point Matthew is trying to make. Don't talk to me about American. American people have built their country. Their children are not necessarily dying on curable disease. And nobody, every year, listen, I don't know where you are, but Americans, they're working on making their society better. They focus on saving their people's life, okay? We're talking about Africa, that the basic, like the basic. You don't even have to be a thinker to find solution for African issue. The basic are not being done because human beings are fighting egos. You understand? Yes, I'm serious. People are not dying like flies over here. Have you seen what's happening to Africa? You can have a car accident, there's no ambulance. Why are you trying to compare stuff that have nothing to do with each other? Look at this. He's talking, that is a lifestyle issue. That's a choice, personal choice. Diabetes, high blood pressure, and addiction to drug. You choose to eat sweet, right? You choose to, like, I don't know, eat high content salt food. You choose to eat chips when you're going to bed with high content salt. You choose to eat fast food. I'm talking about people that have no choice. At least you have the ambulance to save your life. You can pay the $1,000 later. Some people just want to have the choice. That's what I'm talking about. It doesn't matter how much the ambulance is, at least it saves your life. Some people in Africa just, and let me tell you something, it becomes very unsafe for people that have money and the people that don't. Because even if you have the $1,000 in Africa ready to pay for ambulance, you're not going to have it. You can still end up dying. That's unfair. Lord have mercy. I'm done with you, Matthew. You just want to argue. You cannot compare people go into poverty after contacting an illness. Yeah, but maybe they were not in poverty before they contacted the illness. But in Africa, you're born into poverty. Your future is basically your future is it's already defined. You know, you have no. It's not like you choose anything. Please do not compare Africa and America. People in America live in houses. They have electricity. They have water. In Africa, children are dying from curable diseases, illnesses. Curable. That's a shame in 2022. Okay, nobody deserves that. We have the right to have our children. Uh, our children's life. Uh, sorry. Yeah, sorry. So yeah, we cannot. Please, you guys, don't compare. Even continental Africa. I don't know if you're continental Africa or you African American. You want to compare. You cannot compare. Please do not. Do not. Uh, uh, we are continental African who have not been leaving our family, the people that we love and care the most about, to come to America. if that was the case, if America was like Africa. No, you cannot compare. We don't even want to be like America. I don't even want Africa to be like America. I just want African to center their interest on their people, because it's not the case right now. I never say it was beautiful. Okay, America is a man-made country, and anything that is man-made has disadvantages. So I don't expect anything to be perfect. We cannot compare. I'm not comparing. I'm showing you another face of America. I live in America. I know what I live in America. What you talking about? I live in America. So I'm talking even about the mentality. America is progressive. Americans want their country to remain a power, a powerful country. You know, they don't want to give up their position, which is number one in the world. Okay, America fights every day to keep that position, while Africans fight every single day to remain to remain the last country on earth. Africa is fighting every single day to remain the last country on earth. So we're going different direction. Different direction. Well, it's unfortunate that America was built on slavery. We know all that. Africa is still like basically advocating for slavery, because they're different. They're giving their own people up for easy death. People are dying like flies. Africa is over there still killing their people. They already sold part of their people into slavery that they're refusing even to acknowledge. I wish Africa can not acknowledge that, because that's one of the how do you say that? That's one of the major problem of Africa, because Africa never really addressed its past. You know, they just pretend as if it wasn't there, and just continuing acting and behaving like as if they did. It's not me to name. Everybody knows the country that has sold slaves. You know, everywhere the slaves came from, you know, people sold slaves from there, and they have never uh, dealt with that. That's something that Africa has to address when it comes to its children. If not, Africa is not gonna go anywhere. You know, Africa is basically, my dear. Let me be careful about that statement. Let's be careful about this. I'm not writing history. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not writing history. I'm not making any statement. It's in history books. Okay, I'm gonna let you guys go. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you. All right. Okay, Matthew. It's just gonna be we're just gonna agree to disagree. I'm not saying it 100% short. I'm just saying what it's written, you know. It's not me. I'm not a historian. I'm just reading stuff just like you and other people. Uh, all right. So thank you so much. Talk to you guys later. Thank you for being here. Bye. Let me see. Bye bye.